Listen, so last time we were in Sydney, I feel like it was a good night, brother. My boy Dricus Du Plessis. It's man, it's always good to see you. You know what I mean? Like, started off with us at New York. You, me, Cam, Simon, kind of just figuring the whole thing out. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of figuring it all out. And we ended up going. You know, you got the win that night. We went. We partied the next day, and it's just been cool to see the journey of you throughout the UFC. Now with the belt, defending the belt, and brother, it's just good to see you.
Oh man, so good to see you again. Yeah, I mean you said it perfectly. It's very exciting. It's awesome to see, like you said, as we grew, everybody, like you said, figuring it out and having this dream, all of us, and going and doing it. It's been an amazing journey, and time flies, and I'm having the best time.
And you just had a birthday, right?
Yeah.
And did you just get engaged as well?
Yes,
Congratulations,
thank
brother.
you. Yeah, on my birthday, I was thinking about it. Like, okay, actually, I want to ask this girl to marry me, but I know she would like her family there, and my family is away right now, and I want my family there, and her family is away. How do I do this and make it like it's not awkward or like it's not too obvious? Because she didn't expect it for sure, but how do I get all our friends and family in the same place without? And then my birthday, I thought about my birthday because this was over December, and I thought, okay, wait. If I do this on my birthday, I don't have to arrange anything. I just have to show up with a ring. Because she wanted to do something for my birthday, and I couldn't do a party on my birthday because we were in fight camp. But I said, okay, just a couple of friends just to get together and the family. And we did that, and I said, okay, cool. I don't have to arrange the event. She can, because she wanted to do something for me for my birthday. At first, I was like, no, we're not going to have a party. I'm in camp. And then I realized, okay, let's do it. And if she didn't like anything, she arranged it. So I'm innocent. And yeah, I did it on the night that we celebrated my birthday. So it was incredible.
Yeah, it's perfect. It couldn't have worked out better. And she made a post or something, right? Like she was learning to become a coach or something like that. And your coach was like, I already know who you're going to end up with or something like that.
Yeah, so at CIT, at our gym, I own the facility, and we have a boxing gym, commercial boxing and amateur boxing, and we have a couple of pros now, and then we have the MMA gym. So it's 3 different buildings, the jiu-jitsu, but it's right next to each other. And she was, she did a course on potentially being a commercial boxing coach, holding pads for fitness, like boxer size, those kind of things. And when she wanted to do her hours, she came to our gym, and the boxing coach there, Vusi, he's the boxing coach. She was working with him and to get her hours, and he said something like that. I mean, and then we met, and at first, because then she was, kind of an employee at the gym doing like an internship, and part of the management at the team at the gym went, Dricus, you can't do this. I'm like, well, I'm the owner, so I can.
And we got an old saying, you don't shit where you eat.
That is exactly it. And look at us now, because at that stage it was it was, it was a while ago, and also nobody was thinking that this would happen. But I mean, look at how things changed. She's an incredible woman, and she's came into my life and made my life just an incredible.
Yeah, congratulations. You want to shout her out real quick?
Fasti Spiller, soon to be Du Plessis. That is the girl that came in, stole my heart, and changed the game.
Love to hear it, bro. Now, let's get back to you, bro, because I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about the fight for me that really kind of made me tune in. And I remember being at a buddy's house at a barbecue, and we had UFC on the TV, and you had gotten on the mic, and I think it was your fight against Trevin Giles where you'd finished him, and you had made a point. You got on the mic, and you said, listen, I want everybody to know that my name is Dricus Du Plessis, and you made sure that everybody knew your name and how to pronounce it. And I saw the finish, and I saw what you said, and I was like, kind of made me stop. I had to put my drink down and go, okay, wait a minute. Like, it was one of those moments where you just click, and you're like, this guy's probably going to be something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that very well, yeah, because at that stage when my name was pronounced wrong by, especially in America, in Europe it's not hard to use the R sound, and Du Plessis as it's French. In America they say it how they read it, so that was hard, and everybody like Dana, everybody was struggling to say my name, and after that I just said the name is Dricus Du Plessis. I'll be a household name in the top 10 real soon. Yeah, I remember that like yesterday.
Yeah, that was it for me. I was on, I was all aboard there. And then now I see it, and I was thinking about it the other day because, like, at the press conferences, you're always like, all right, I want everybody to boo on 3, 1, 2, 3, and then everybody boos, and you're like, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to turn those boos to cheers. And I was like, why are they booing this guy? Because we've hung out, like, we've had beers, and I'm like, this is a good guy. Like, why are they booing him? And then I really took a look at it, and I was like, it's because he beat Robert Whittaker. It's because he beat Sean Strickland, and, he beat Israel Adesanya. They don't have. That's literally the only reason that I feel like they booed you. Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, man, you shouldn't be booing this guy. So, I mean, I know it doesn't matter to a lot of guys, but did you ever think about that? You're like, man, these guys really don't have a reason to boo me other than the fact that I keep knocking out their favorite guys.
Yeah, and I took it exactly as that. There's no other reason, and the fact is, but I'm there to entertain. When you watch my fights, there's never booing happening. There's always sound. The crowd goes crazy because there's always a great fight, and that's the most important part as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, absolutely, fighting a guy like Robert Whittaker and beating him, he's a fan favorite everywhere in the world, and rightfully so. He's one of the coolest guys ever. I mean, it was such an honor fighting him, and just a gentleman and nice person overall. And then fighting Sean Strickland, beating Sean Strickland, who is a crowd favorite in those parts, and then of course fighting Adesanya here in Australia, which is enemy territory for me. He's from around this area, but that's the game. Everybody, it's backing your horse, and for me, it's the cheers are great, but as long as they're cheering for the fight and they're getting the worth for the ticket they paid, then I'm happy. That's my job. My job is to entertain fans with my fighting style, and whether they're booing or cheering, they are having the time of their lives. That's the important part. If you care enough to boo, if you're booing for me, you're cheering for the other guy. And a lot of boos and a lot of cheers makes a lot of noise, and that means somebody is caring enough to make noise for what we do, and for that I'm thankful always.
I think that's exactly it. I mean, I heard some of the boys talking about wrestling earlier, and it's the same thing. Like, the best thing you can get is a pop, whether it's a bad one or a good one. The worst thing you can do is go out there and hear silence for the entire fight. You know what I mean? Like, so going back to that, and like going back to the press conferences and things like that, I don't know if anybody ever caught it, because like the last Israel Adesanya press conference, it was intense. It was intense, right? There was the end. John Anik cuts off the press conference. Israel walks off stage. You were about to go back in. Like, I saw you pick up the mic. Yeah. You weren't finished, were you?
Yeah, I was. When they called off that, I mean, because the reaction was there, the one that set it on. So then I was ready to go. I was so ready to go because, when it's almost the momentum. They cut short the presser because things got intense. But once you have that's when you start going at it.
Has anyone ever got you? Like, has anyone in your group of friends ever got you to the point where you're like, shit, man, like, I think you got me?
Yeah, that happens a lot. But I think, I don't curse on TV. Mm-hmm. Like, my mom would kill me. So I don't say swear words. But, in my private time, me and my friends, yes, of course we do. So, yeah, it's different because you can, the limits are much different to what you can say or not. But yeah, my friends and my brothers, definitely, especially I have two older brothers. My older brother is a lawyer, and yeah, it's a hard fight with him. It's a hard fight with him. And then my oldest brother, he was the oldest brother, so that's where I got this. They are always, since I was very little. One is 4 years older, one is 7 years. The banter between us always been there, and with our friends, it's very similar. We're always joking around. It's almost like nothing's ever serious. We're always giving each other shit the whole time. And yeah, I've been caught quite a few times, but up until this point on the international stage, not yet.
Yeah, nobody in the UFC, which was weird because like we've seen the back and forth with all the different fighters. And like, I think the last time I was interviewing Alex Pereira, this was when you guys were still going back and forth. He said something to the effect of like, Dricus is a dog's asshole.
clown. 故意教授。不后来。
Was what he said. And what is it with dogs around you? You said the last press conference, you said, chill, bro. Nobody said anything about dogs.
When did I become the underdog?
You know, it's a pick'em. It's very.
Nobody said anything about dogs, bro. Chill out.
And then Alex Pereira brings that up, and I'm like, where is this all coming from?
Yeah, I mean, that is either coincidence or very, very weird. I would hope it's coincidence. But yeah, I think, yeah, it's like throwing random insults is not. It's. I think it's moved way past that. You know, it's about witty and funny and being quick on the spot. I think that's what makes things funny. And sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. But you know, I don't take when there's nothing anybody can say, nothing, not a single thing that can get under my skin. I know that for a fact. There is nothing off limits. I remember with the previous chicken one when he sent me that message of, if there's anything off limits, let me know, but you can't talk about that again. I said, there's nothing off limits. Like, you can go, try your best. When I get in there, and you also see a difference between, from myself, between the Dricus that shows up at the pre-fight press conference and the one that shows up, 6 weeks out to a press conference. The Dricus that shows up to this week's press conference is not as funny and as jokingly about the whole thing as the Dricus that shows up to the press conference 6 weeks out. This is fight week. I'm ready to kill this week. So that's a much more serious. Yeah, the banter, try and bully me, I will show you. But it's a different mindset as well. You can say whatever you want. I do not care. I am there. And by that time, we are 2 days away from getting in there. So whatever you say doesn't really matter. It's about, let's go.
And then I've got to ask you before we get out of here, because, I mean, our good buddy ATN, he said, make sure you bring up his jiu-jitsu coach. He said, talk about Coach Neil. So tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, Coach Neil, he's here. He's the biggest man here around that you'll see. He's a bald man. He's a third-degree black belt. He's a incredible jiu-jitsu practitioner, judo, competed in world champs and jiu-jitsu. And he's just an incredible coach. You know, when you jiu-jitsu coach, I started working with him many years ago on just jiu-jitsu, and then he joined our team about a year and a half ago, or maybe even 2 years ago. And you know, it's been evident how much that has helped. He's a behemoth of a man, so I guess he's 2 meters long. I think that's almost 7 foot. Yeah, that's around. I don't know what it is in foot, to be honest, but big guy, extremely technical, and has been training MMA fighters, so it relates to MMA so good, because I don't want to do jiu-jitsu. One day when I'm done, I really want to, but I don't want to do things that's not applicable to MMA, and that's where he is an expert at. So yeah, like we just keep evolving the team, getting better and better, and in all aspects, in terms of nutrition, because as a champion now I have, and that's a blessing to have the ability to have access to all these things, to be better, and never to forget where I come from, because the struggle, we all had to do everything ourselves and almost build a team, because we didn't have facilities. We had to build one in South Africa. We didn't have everything under one roof. We had to build it, get the right people, get the best person to our availability, get him in that room, get the best physio, get the best nutritionist, get everything, build it from scratch. And that's why we are such a close-knit family, is because as the family grows, we will always remember where we come from, and everybody that's been there from the beginning. And it's incredible to see how the sport has grown in South Africa, and how this has made the amount of talent that's in that gym right now is incredible.
And shout out to Coach Neil. Last question. This was in my comment section. I think it was after the Robert Whittaker KO. Yeah. And I think it was all the South African fans, because you were talking about what you grew up eating. I can't pronounce it.
Yes.
The meal that you were eating.
Yes.
But then they also commented, they were like, Robert Whittaker found out about load shedding that night. Can you explain that to me?
That's hilarious. Okay, so I said braaivleis and pap. So that is like a barbecue, like they would call it in America, but like only, like, not gas and no no charcoal or briquette, wood fire. That's what South Africans do. Like, this is our favorite meal. That is, and then pap, of course, being like maize meal, like maize, and you just, almost like grits. I would compare it to that, but like a bit more dense. And that's where the strength comes from. All that red meat, because I eat red meat 3 times a day. Not when I'm this close to a fight, unfortunately. So I can't wait. And that's the South African diet. That's a standard South African diet. And then load shedding. We have for very long, and we just had it now a couple of weeks ago again, where there's not enough power to supply the whole grid. So the government, this is crazy, the government puts on like power outs every day. Like a lot of my interviews, I spoke to Bisping, we tried to get to each other in an interview, but we couldn't. Like 4 times I had to cancel because every day at random times in the morning, 2 hours, there's no power. Like just everything in the whole area is down. And then at night, so if you have something scheduled, it goes out for 2 hours. No traffic lights, no street lights, there's no power in that area. So that is terrible, and that's, South Africans being jokingly, as we are with the humor, saying he found out what it's like to have load shedding, to have his lights put out.
Okay, it makes sense now. It's typical South African banter.
Exactly.
I get it, brother. Listen, Dricus Du Plessis, I'm going to stand up for this. Always good to see you, bro.
Good to see you, man.
And good luck this week.
Thank you so much.
And, cheers, boys.
Let's go.